It's happy hour somewhere.
You're tuned in to the Janeé Latrice podcast.
I'm hyped.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
It's up, motherfuckers!
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Season goddamn 3!
This is what you've been waiting for all this time. Let's talk about it.
What up?
Yeah.
I am so excited. I can't hide it. I'm so hyped. Welcome back to the Janeé Latrice podcast, the happy hour of podcasts where young black creatives come together to discuss our worlds and take what we need. I am your host, performing artist, recording artist, and entrepreneur, Janeé Latrice.
Make some noise. Make a noise for yourselves.
There she go.
Yo, I am so freaking glad to be back with the gang of all gangs. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand is my sister friend, the Mrs., the mom, and everybody's favorite funny honey bunny. Y'all already know DeLoria Lewis is in the building.
Shout out to the moms.
No, hey y'all.
Let's go.
And the moms to be.
Come on here.
It ain't me though.
I know. Listen, let them know. And of course, back for more thought-provoking contributions. Held it down for the fellas all last season, okay? As our resident Renaissance man, actor, writer, and vocalist, Jerome Scott, is back at the table.
Yeah. Hi, guys. What's going on? What's up? How y'all feel?
And listen, y'all, I'm so motherfucking hype. I'm beyond hype. I'm like too damn hype.
How hype are you?
So welcome one of my very, very best friends to the show. Our newest co-host, ladies and gentlemen. He is not only a singer and songwriter, but also an avid advocate for an entire spectrum of causes and communities, which you will come to know as you get to know him. And luckily for you, you got all season to do that. Joining the Janeé Latrice podcast, repping Philly by way of San Francisco, is Mr. Class Act himself, Holden Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Holden Golden Butter. Hey.
Golden butter.
In the building.
Bestie.
In the building.
Welcome.
You said a season, but really an episode.
Come
this
on.
is a trial run.
You know it ain't. The devil is a filthy lie.
Get out of here.
Not after,
Trial runs last for an episode.
okay. Not after them photos. Nope. You in.
You in there,
You're
dog.
in. You dug in.
Can't take them back.
Tell the people how you feel, being here with us and what you're most looking forward to this season on the show.
I feel triggered.
Here we go with this shit.
That's it.
Done.
We're going to start off with the...
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, I feel great. I feel so loved. It feels like an embrace without the touching. It's very quarantine right now.
You don't
The
like
touching can be arranged.
Touching, that's
Yeah,
a
we
different
definitely...
show.
Not me.
After hours.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to the most on the show this season? We wilding already. It is
You know what I
it
mean?
is.
No, for real, like honestly, there's a way that I want to just polish up on some skills that y'all are just like fortified. Y'all got these skills.
Fortified.
Well,
You know what I mean? I don't know how to talk to people, and y'all know how to talk to people.
Oh,
I just need to learn how to talk to people.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I
I feel
mean,
like you do just fine
exactly.
talking to people,
I think
but
you do all
My
right.
sentiment exactly.
you're a close friend of mine, so we're going to see. We're going to let the people see for themselves.
We've had many conversations. I think.
What? He doesn't talk? He doesn't talk? So that wasn't him talking? Is he a ventriloquist?
Hey, yo. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a well-deserved and hopefully well-spent break. I do want to get into some personal highlights, since we have last gathered. I want to start with our production assistant. Shout out to Josh. He is in the building. Okay, our production assistant who has been given very much foot on neck energy, since we last gathered. Okay, for those new listeners who may not know, and those loyal listeners returning to us, our production assistant here at the Janeé Latrice podcast is none other than King Joshua Glass, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
The Joshua.
The content creator, dancer, choreographer, image consultant, all-around visionary, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, Baby Bro dropped not one, but 2 issues of his all-new quarterly digital magazine, Vers Maison, available on issue.com. That's ISSUU.com. Okay, Vers Maison is a magazine for everyday creatives trying to better their mental health through fashion, art, and entertainment. And I'm telling y'all, it is fire. Okay?
Super
It's
lit.
fire.
Both episodes.
Now,
both
the second,
issues.
no, seriously.
Yeah.
Now, the second issue of the magazine also came with the launch of his entertainment and production company.
Let's go.
Stained Glass Entertainment.
Yep.
Okay.
Run it down.
Yeah, that shit was popping too. Which he commemorated with a live music concert featuring incredible Philly vocal acrobat.
That's right.
Taylor Samuels,
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
and only. Okay, and I had the pleasure of hosting that virtual event, and it was professional, it was dope, it was fun, and just all of the things. Jerome actually has articles in both issues of the magazine, right, bro?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to check it out?
Of
T?
course, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my little brother. I better check it out.
look at
Better
it,
check
yeah.
him out.
That joint is super popping. So
Yeah.
you guys can find his magazine. Make sure you follow him at Vers Maison on Instagram. That's VERREMAISON. Okay.
Come on, spelling me.
All right, y'all. So we have a lot of things to get into.
Yes.
Do it now.
And listen, if y'all are, wait. No, I need to hear about y'all. How did y'all spend your break? Somebody jump in, anybody.
I mean, a personal moment in my life that happened since the last time we were at the table is probably my daily growth. I know that's probably a stretch, but like, that was important for me because
I love it.
I felt stagnant in my former seasons, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
And since we last sat at the table, life happened.
Yeah.
A couple different things happened, not anything crazy happened with my kids, but they're growing up and you
I know,
start
that's
to
right.
see them.
Shout out to Lincoln Low.
Right. And Cyrese getting getting older.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm more conscious of my decisions now. I try not to do certain things or I do certain things like different practices and stuff like that. You know what's so crazy? Full transparency.
Yeah.
I never had a daily face routine.
Come on. I love this.
Ain't that crazy?
No, it's
I never
not
had
crazy.
a daily
It's not.
face routine.
I just
It's not
recently,
crazy.
girl,
Yeah.
you're not alone.
Alright,
You're
yeah,
not
alright,
alone out
cool.
here. Don't even
Yeah.
play.
And
I'm sorry.
girl,
Wait, so we're
you're
not
not
doing
alone.
daily
You're not
facials?
alone.
We're not doing daily facials?
No.
I wasn't.
I wasn't either up
I'm-
until very,
yeah.
very recently.
Just being conscious of self-care
No,
has happened to
seriously.
me from the last time we sat.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jerome,
Yeah.
share.
Yo, so, life happens.
Right.
It's crazy because
Absolutely.
the last, at the end of the last season, I was talking about having an album out. And
Yeah.
clearly an album is not
Come on,
out.
come on here. I'm so glad that you brought that up so I didn't have to.
No, it's fine. But please, the album is coming. It's back. I feel re-energized.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially
come on.
as of late.
Yeah.
And I think that may due to for the bulk of our break, I was just not there. And then within like the last 2-3 weeks, and I want to give a shout out to Josh for helping with this because it kind of kicked off with his energy, and you feed off of other people's energy.
Definitely do.
Especially those that are younger than you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you look at him, you're like, man, he working like that. I need to get my butt up here and do
Exactly.
something. And I extend now. I thank him for the opportunity. It was an honor writing.
Yeah.
For you, Josh. I appreciate that because that reinvigorates some creative juices
It does.
I love
flowing.
that.
The phone's been ringing for some other opportunities.
Come on here,
There
phone
we go.
ringing.
Yo, it's
Period.
crazy. It's crazy. So that has re-energized me to get this done during the course of the season. I've recorded some stuff.
I know that's right.
I've recorded
He said
some
I've been in the
stuff.
lab.
I've been recording and have been writing. So that through the course of the season, you'll have singles and things coming out.
So we allowed to hold
go.
you accountable.
You
today.
are absolutely allowed to hold me accountable. Not
we
only
go.
us
Oh, praise
here,
the
but
Lord.
our listening
Come on,
audience.
listeners. Y'all heard the man.
Get on me.
Before we sat down, Before we sat down, Josh said, under promise and over deliver.
Yes.
Over deliver, under promise.
Yes.
See, I don't make promises at all, so whatever you get is a surprise. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I didn't give a promise. I just said hold me accountable.
Yeah, don't leave me the fuck alone.
Holden,
Yo.
tell us, highlight a personal moment, a standout moment since February, since it's your first time being with us.
Got me a job.
Come on here.
That nigga working.
You know what I mean? Slumming and bumming all these months in quarantine.
He back.
No, I'm
Not
back.
slumming and bumming.
Slumming and bumming. But no, yeah, quarantine hasn't been the kindest to all of us. So, just parlaying that into different opportunities,
Yeah.
to school over
Yeah.
the course of quarantine. So I was like, you know what? Fuck the shit.
Come
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
in.
Getting a job. I'm getting back into the work.
I know that's
Ain't nothing
right.
wrong with
Love
it.
it.
Everybody need a
Yes.
couple dollars in their pocket.
Shout out to everybody, everything that everybody got going on. Me, myself.
Right.
Me,
yourself.
Right.
Since
Do
we last
tell.
got- Come
Run
on.
that shit down, cuz.
Don't be
Go.
like that. Don't be like that. Can you
Number
please?
one.
Because everybody hype. Like, I just don't want this. I just wanted to tell
I
people
wonder
about
what
my
you was
little thing.
doing.
I was chilling. I just was taking naps.
Okay.
But no, seriously. Since we last gathered, I dropped my sophomore album entitled Back to Me, which is available everywhere. Woo!
Everywhere.
Woo!
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I also dropped a rap EP.
Yeah. That was my shit.
Hey, yo.
Entitled This Is Not a Test.
That joint banging in my Jeep right now.
I love it. No, I'm proud of that. That's also available everywhere. I also dropped 2 new music videos for songs from the album, which you can find on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And my company, Boogie Down Experience, is currently in busy season.
Back
so
up.
there's a whole lot of money.
Back up.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Life is great. And now we got some things to get into. Okay.
yeah.
Our cups
Right.
are full. Everybody cup full. Everybody good?
Cup is
Yeah, we
full.
good.
I'm ready if y'all ready.
Talk about it. Come on.
Let's talk about it.
Remind the people that this is happy hour.
It's
Have a
happy
drink.
hour.
Pour it
Listen.
out.
That's
Wow,
right.
it's the way she grabbed the mic though, because y'all at home, y'all can't see it, but
Yes.
it was.
She caressed that very
Yeah.
seductively.
It's giving Jill. It's giving Jill.
Shantae's got a
Wait,
Come on, D, with the 2 hands.
of all the songs, hey
My middle name Shantae.
D got the no hand skills, but let's not even. Talk
Oh my God!
Let's get into.
It just disappears.
I'll drink to that.
It goes away.
Wow.
Seeking to rise no more.
Hey
What a great way to start, right?
right? Okay. Oh God, what we talking about? Okay, so listen, here we go. From 1984 to 1992, spending 5 consecutive seasons as the #1 rated show on television, The Cosby Show was TV's biggest hit in the 80s and almost single-handedly revived the sitcom genre and NBC's ratings fortunes, according to TV Guide. Now, at the center of this success was, of course, comedian, actor, and author Bill Cosby, who, prior to being recently released from prison, had returned to news headlines with more sexual assault allegations. And I do say more because although recent allegations have, created quite a stir in the age of social media and all the things, the earliest allegations against Cosby of this kind date back to 1965, with women actually coming forward since 2000. To date, 60 women have alleged that the comedic actor has engaged in inappropriate conduct with them, ranging from drug-facilitated sexual assault, sexual battery, rape, or other sexual misconduct. And this is according to USA Today. Now,
Yeah, deep
It was
breaths.
that. It was that.
Deep sigh.
It was that.
I definitely want us to get into this, and I would love to hear what you all think in general about the case. I would like to start by saying, I feel like I have a very, very interesting relationship with my views on this case. And I'm certainly going to tread lightly because, first and foremost, I am a person who deeply values the importance of sharing your truth and being heard and respected for your experiences.
That's important.
Right.
Very important.
Right.
I am completely against abuse of any kind. I really want to preface anything with making sure that our listeners understand that. And while I have personally never been sexually assaulted, I have been in sexually uncomfortable situations with men. You know what I'm saying? And I can only imagine the horror and life-changing trauma that comes with being raped. You know what I mean? My whole heart goes out to survivors of sexual assault all over the world. Now, with that being said, I will not lie to y'all. Okay, being 100% transparent, I found myself for a while at least, just speaking transparently, I found myself for a while not entirely sure if these allegations rang true in my spirit. You know what I mean? And I don't think it comes down to any level of fandom that I have for Bill. I mean, I was easily a much bigger fan of R. Kelly's before, we became aware of everything that was going on behind closed doors in his life. And now it makes me very uncomfortable to even speak his name because I personally believe that every allegation against him is 100% true. Okay. In my heart, I just believe that, right? And let me say this. For every person out there like us who speculate and then form opinions, at the end of the day, none of us were there. None of us were there.
Absolutely.
Okay, formulating an opinion comes down to deciding what you believe based on what you've been presented
Right.
and what checks out in your conscious mind.
Right.
Not for nothing, and Holden, you can speak to this. I happen to have a personal relationship with two young men, not one, but two young men whose names I will not mention, with respect for their privacy.
Absolutely.
But two young men who were falsely accused of raping a young woman just as we were coming out of high school. Okay, and those charges changed the course of both of their lives forever. In fact, one of them is no longer with us. Okay, by the time it was made known that the allegations were fabricated, it was too late. Okay, I witnessed that. I witnessed that happen. So while I firmly understand the importance of believing victims, I'm also keenly aware that there is another side to this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not often spoken of. So initially, this was tough for me to accept as truth. Okay, I won't lie. Now, however, can I just take a deep breath?
Now that we got through all that.
Now, however, no, seriously, because this shit,
I get it.
damn,
You gotta tread lightly.
Yeah.
it's a lot.
It's
It's
a
a
tap
lot.
dance.
It's a lot. It's a lot. My feelings definitely have shifted a little, right? And part of what helped my feelings shift was an interview that I actually got to watch as opposed to just listen to of Jennifer Lewis on The Breakfast Club. Right. And, in my defense, I had not fully, dove into watching or listening to interviews or any testimonies regarding this because I intentionally kind of just fell back from it, right? But after seeing this and being able to actually put eyes on it from this particular perspective, it did jar me a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So I'm gonna run the clip for you guys, and this is from an interview again that Jennifer Lewis did on The Breakfast Club when she was recounting a moment where she was going to audition for something or something to that effect. So, all right, here we go.
I don't know who she was or what, but we were in that room, and I was going on and on about myself. What else? Talking, what I'm doing. And I said, we were having a good time, me and this girl. We're just talking. And I looked out, I remember looking out the window at the Hudson River. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm talking out, and I said, and next week I'm doing the Cosby show. And I didn't hear her say nothing because we've been laughing and everything. So I turned around, and when I tell you this girl turned red, she's like, I turned around and her whole shit had changed, had reversed in a second, just from hearing his name. I said, what's wrong with you?
I wish y'all could see her face.
Yeah.
You raped me.
Oh, Lord. So that is something, first of all, we are going to post that full clip to our Instagram. So make sure you guys are following us at the JL Podcast. But between that and just doing a deeper dive in preparation for today's show, I now find myself very much conflicted, unsure of exactly what to believe, but leaning more so on the side of the survivors, if I'm honest. And, I'm not particularly proud of the fact that I didn't necessarily believe this right away or that I'm even still conflicted because I don't still believe all of this 100%. I have to be honest. Sure. I'm very aware of the statistics of survivors who actually come forward after assaults versus those who do not. And I will always, always, always root for true justice to be served in situations like this. Again, my experience is just different, and it's a tough one for me. Holden, weigh in here. What are your general thoughts about the case?
Well, firstly, I probably was in the group that was like, okay, well, if they're saying he did it, maybe he did. There's something to check out there, right? And just following the case, in his deposition, in the depositions in 2005, right? The initial prosecutors, when I believe her name was Constant. Her last name was Constant.
Yeah,
Angela
right.
Constant.
Yeah, that lady.
Yeah,
I wrote it down too.
not that lady. I did too.
Andrea.
That's what it was, an A. Initially, she had a journey getting her case before a court, and one of the main problems is that the attorney felt. For none of us here are lawyers or in law, so this is the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
He had an issue taking it to trial because she waited a year to say something. So that deletes evidence. She couldn't go get a rape kit, because it's a year later. So there's no way to say, what happened, whatever. And I feel like that's something that works against victims sometimes.
Absolutely.
Which doesn't mean go and say something right away, but it's hard then to prove a case, right? Yeah. But I understand that. The other thing is, in the deposition, he admitted to giving women highly sedative drugs that he was attracted to for the express purpose of wanting to do something sexual with them. I don't know to what degree there was consent in that, right? On that end, I don't know how much they were involved in saying, yes, okay, cool, I'm down, let's go, whatever.
And that's where I struggle.
Right, yeah. But the fact remains is in the deposition, that is something he did admit to, even though essentially when he was tried for assault, what landed him in jail in 2017-18, I'm trying to watch my words.
It's
I get it.
To talk about this.
Dance.
It's tricky.
It really is.
It's like the hokey pokey.
You know what I mean? But he denied. He denied allegations of doing that.
Yeah.
So the way I feel about it is, if this is something that did happen, because of the court system and the fact that he was denied due process, which is what overturned the verdict, it makes it hard, to form an opinion about it, and also for him to be tried in the right way, because he can't be tried again for the same thing. That would be double jeopardy,
exactly.
Right? But there's that. But a part of me is happy that he's out, right? So a part of me wants him to be tried. I know he can't be tried again for the same thing. Statute of limitations has run out, and it'll be double jeopardy. But part of me is also glad that he's out, because he was denied due process, right? The attorney told him that this won't be used. This information that you're saying is not going to be used against you. And then it was actually used later on down the line.
That's what I never understand, is why they ask for that information, and why do you want to know if you're not going to use it against me? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're going to use it against you.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're a lot of times when you go into situations like that, you're under the impression that I'm working a deal out.
Right.
With this DA.
Right.
And this DA is not going to, and you're taking their word, like, okay, they're not going to do that. The problem is in Montgomery County, where this was held, there were, and you can look into this, but there were discrepancies between that DA and the judge. So that is where kind of this gets real muddy, where it's like, evidence was used and it wasn't supposed to be used, and the DA said we're not going to use it, then the DA is not there anymore, so we're going to use it. So to your point, Holden, we do look at it and say, well, on some degrees, justice was served, but it kind of doesn't feel like that. So it's like a part of me is where you're at. Like, I do feel happy that he is out to a degree, because y'all not gonna do that. And on the macro, the larger we look at it, and it's like, well, goodness, that's right, another black man, right? It's like another black man. Did him. They got him again. They're not gonna keep doing this stuff. But then it's like the micro. You gotta take a case by case basis and go, but he might be guilty.
Right.
No,
and we don't know. We don't know.
Right.
That's the thing is,
we do not know.
We don't know. And that's the thing. I'm going to read this. The prosecutor at the time told Cosby. The prosecutor at the time, Kevin Steele was.
Kevin Steele, yes.
That was her attorney. But the prosecutor at the time told Cosby his statements would not be used as evidence against him. That was from the Washington Post, right? So this is coming from NBC News. When an unconditional charging decision is made publicly and with the intent to induce action and reliance by the defendant, and when the defendant does so to his detriment, and in some instances upon the advice of counsel, denying the defendant the benefit of that decision is an affront to fundamental fairness, according to the High Court opinion authored by Justice David Weck. And from that's why I talk about due process, because there's a lot of uncertainty. But when
that's a big technicality.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
super
because of that,
huge. I said 9 News is another just a random local news
Shout out to Nine
Say,
News.
not shout out to Nine News. Y'all getting a shout out today. Y'all probably never got a shout out before.
No, I'm too. I'm like wavering on either side of this deal. I'm both sided, I guess I would say. From the onset, I was. From the time that people started talking about it, I was just kind of like, both sides I call bullshit. Bill, you be lying. And some of them women, they lying too. I'm sorry. I understand everybody want to tread lightly and all of that good stuff. That's fine. But I speak very forward. I will be respectful of the women. I will be respectful of Bill if he is telling the truth. We don't know. We wasn't there.
We weren't
right?
there. That's
maybe those
the
women.
thing.
Maybe those women went into the room and was like, "Yeah, give me one of them pills," and didn't expect to feel that way. And story changed, role changed.
I mean,
We don't know how many people trying to get a couple dollars. Like they seen one person get a couple dollars. Maybe I can get a couple dollars
and
too.
there's room for reasonable doubt.
There's always room for reasonable doubt, and especially, and I hate to bring up the time period. Like a lot of this happened
Years.
in like the 70s, and it's unfair to say, well, it was party culture, right? That's very unfair, and that is, I understand the way.
But that's relevant, though.
But it's also
For sure.
relevant
Because times have changed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's, not for nothing. That's important to note.
Yeah, I don't want to in any way devalue the women who were
For sure.
absolutely
Exactly.
who may have experienced assault
Absolutely.
from him, but I also don't want to negate bringing up that was a thing that was done, especially like we're talking about Playboy Mansion, Hugh Hefner. These are their experiences where people have shared, like, oh, this type of thing went on.
Yeah.
This was a thing, and yeah, it's frustrating.
Did you shout out Nine News? Did you actually?
Yeah, I did shout out Nine News because I was going.
I felt like they jumped in when you was about to say
I said,
a
"Oh,
quote
you know what they said
for Nine News."
Sorry.
Because since
No,
we
but
said Nine News,
it was to add on to the due process thing. And the justices in the recent case, they said they found that Cosby relied on that promise, the promise that it wasn't going to be used to testify, invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination in a lawsuit brought against him by Miss Constant. So it's like, because I'm in this lawsuit, you can't use the stuff from the lawsuit
against me
to put me in jail later.
Absolutely.
And also, Jerome, also to that point, she also settled in court for $3.4 million back in 2006.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a level of, like, they went through this before.
You won your civil case, baby.
And I'm not saying that you still don't go after the person.
It's so tough.
Yeah, don't go after the person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you want damages or whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like there was a level of 3.4 is the technical figure in 2006.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just was adding that.
Now he sat in there with the prosecutor and bared his soul. But he also in 1969 had a comedy show that he did called "It's True, It's True," and in that comedy show he did a bit joking about drugging women. Is that something that could be used against them? He said you put a little something in their drink and they hold up, Bill. You did what? You did what? Now, sir.
You can't be doing shit like that. Let me be clear.
snitch.
Now it's a cause. Now
be
it's
doing shit like that.
You definitely
drug women.
Do it and then talk about it.
Don't drug women, please. Please don't drug women.
Please don't drug women.
Don't rape women.
That's corny
None of the
anyway.
things.
Yeah, like all of those women can't be lying. Damn it.
Not all of them.
He's the common denominator
Not all.
and all that.
Now, Janice Dickinson,
What?
who was originally a part
That lady.
Janice Dickinson, some of you may know her from America's Next Top Model.
I know who that is.
Yeah, I'm just for others who may not
white.
be listening and be like, who this white lady he talking about?
Yeah. What? She's a.
But Janice Dickinson, former model, and was on America's Top Model for a few seasons. She was a part of that original large group that did the photo shoot. And they were all together, but she came out later and said that she had actually fabricated her story.
Yep. I remember that.
Which actually hurts those who are
Their other credibility.
right.
That's a whole nother segment, honestly, because that is so damaging and so dangerous, and that actually speaks to the experience that I was referencing before that I witnessed happen. This is a thing.
Yeah.
This is a thing. Women do that, especially when the culture is appropriate for them to, you know what I'm saying, win or be believed.
Well, because
right away.
the accusation is enough.
Yes.
If I'm accused of sexual assault, from then on, I will
Exactly.
always be tagged
Yep.
as
Someone
some
who
type.
has been accused
Right.
of sexual assault.
And there's all I will wear that.
Yeah.
I could be proven non guilty, never been,
It's a
but
scarlet
the
letter.
fact,
It's a
right,
scarlet letter.
that I wear that stain
Yeah.
on my chest for the
Yeah.
rest of my life. You know, so it's very difficult to wash that away, and we have to be sensitive not only to the victims, but sensitive to those who are in those instances
Being falsely accused.
Is,
we have to sort of move on, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
touchy.
That's
Hell.
touchy.
This subject is so.
No,
like,
it really is. And it's definitely been, a very public hot topic for some time now, particularly on social media. And in the wake of Bill Cosby's release from prison, Phylicia Rashad, who, let me just say, is a woman that I absolutely revere. Okay, I love everything
No
about
slander for me.
Phylicia Rashad. Period. She took to her Twitter and tweeted, "Finally, a terrible wrong has been righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected." Now, for those who somehow may not know, Phylicia Rashad she played Claire Huxtable on the sitcom, and she now serves as the Dean of Fine Arts College of Howard University. And needless to say, many people were unhappy about her decision to publicly support Cosby's release. In fact, Howard University released a statement that basically said that her sentiments don't represent their sentiments, and a petition was actually launched at one point calling for her resignation or dismissal from her position. She has since come back to Twitter to express her apologies to anyone she may have offended and to communicate, just don't laugh right there, and to communicate her support of sexual assault survivors. Now, what are y'all thoughts on this? Now, Jerome, you posed a great question of, is it fair or foul to formulate opinions of people based on social media opinions? And should Phylicia Rashad be canceled? And I'm going to shoot to you first to give us your thoughts.
Well, yeah, that was jarring to see the response to her.
Yeah.
Because there was, it's like, it's Phylicia Rashad. Like,
Right.
leave her alone. Ain't she old?
Right.
But
She's seasoned, honey,
She's seasoned.
and well.
There it is.
but yeah, but actually, but this is not new, and I do have the clip of this. The Felicia's position on this is not necessarily new.
You ready for the clip?
Yeah, this was an interview in about 6 years ago. It was on Entertainment Tonight. But Phylicia did an interview.
Here we
This
go.
is a little clip.
You were on the set with him for more than a decade, working very closely with him. At no time did you ever see anything inappropriate?
What I saw was fun. Never anything inappropriate. What I saw was work and play at work and fun. Mrs. Cosby was a frequent visitor to the studio. She was there a lot. That's what I saw.
Phylicia Rashad.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Phylicia. But yeah.
Felicia.
But yeah, I think this is one of those things where we're going after Phylicia on her Mrs. Rashad off of, let me correct that.
Come on here.
I'm not,
Come on
not
here.
about to be disrespectful, but they were going after her based on an opinion of Bill, off an experience that she had with Bill personally.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times what ends up happening is that we start seeing attacks on people based on their opinions of people that they've had
That they know.
Talk about it.
off of their own experience. It's like, I've never seen them do that.
Right.
So to me, they're a good person.
Right.
So, but while the masses are judging this person and the masses I have a different opinion of him
Yeah.
Right.
or a different opinion of them based on my experience. And that cannot be thrown out.
Yeah.
That cannot be ignored.
I know that's right.
And you can't look at somebody, and this is why I think it's personally foul to just take the opinions of the masses, especially social media masses, people that don't know
Getting
them,
juicy.
people that have no idea who this person is, and you've had an experience with that person, and they say, well, this person is horrible. And it's like, every time I was around them, they were so nice to me.
They were
Yeah.
great.
I know you may have had a different experience, or you
This
may
is good.
think
Right.
something is different, and you may not like them, and you may believe all those other people. I understand what you're saying, but every time I was around them, they were warm,
Yeah.
they were charming, and if Bill Cosby, and I don't speak to his guilt or innocence, but whatever it is, it shows a duality in people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can show
Absolutely.
there are different sides of you that you may not even intentionally show.
Right.
It's just that when he was at work, he was at work.
Right.
That wasn't even no. I had no thought of that. That's just another side of him.
Right.
And if this stuff is true, if the allegations are true, then that's what he, that's what they dealt with. But I didn't see that.
Right. That's what she's saying. That's what she's speaking to. Before I jump in, y'all want to jump? Because Holden, I saw you. You had your thinking face.
Yeah, I
on.
did, but please. You have something.
We're not playing ping pong.
All right. Okay, all right.
go,
You
you
gotta
go.
yell at me though. All right, damn, this is my first day.
You learning.
My
You
first day
learning.
on the job.
You
All right,
believe
wait a minute. God damn it.
When you ready, you just jump in. I'm not ready yet. Don't try to force it on me now.
No,
I don't like to be forced.
don't force it unless it's after
Wait a
9
minute.
p.m. After 9 p.m.
Hold on.
You heard the conversation. We ain't forcing nobody to do nothing.
Hold on.
After 9 is a different story.
Oh,
Not unless we
Bring
give you a
it
little
back.
intoxication
It's a little bit.
first.
It's a
I
little,
can't
little
do it.
libation.
off the rails.
I know.
Stop.
But this is how people talk.
Bring
Come
it
on, come on. We gonna keep it a bean.
They
That's
gonna
what Bill
cancel
said.
us.
Right. I'm not touching that.
Listen, we're not about to be here and be all starched the whole
No, I
fucking
feel you.
time.
No,
No.
I feel
Bringing
you.
the noise. No, but I would say
This situation is fucked up.
It's
but-
fucked up. I say
I don't think there's nothing wrong with Felicia Rashad defending Bill. I agree with what Jerome said. Like, she has a different experience with that man.
Yeah, legit.
If when you went into the room with him, you wasn't role playing in that way, Felicia Rashad had a different story to
She had a
tell.
different story.
Why y'all throwing that lady away because her experience was different?
I will never throw.
Yeah, I think the
Come
thing
on
is, like
now.
with social media, though, it's you have to be whenever you're using social media, whether you're a 13-year-old or whether you're 75, a CEO, right? You have to use a level of clarity and discretion when you're creating content, whether it's a
Fair.
post,
Very
a
fair.
meme,
Absolutely.
a status update, whatever it is. There's a level of wisdom, clarity,
For sure.
and context, because if not, people are going to extrapolate from that whatever they
sure.
want.
Extrapolate.
Write that shit down.
I'm sorry.
I'm writing it down.
What
All right.
the
writing it down.
fuck
See?
is
See what I mean?
extrapolate?
Write
Ladies
it
and
down,
gentlemen,
look it
Holden
up.
has taken my
Holden
big word
is
title.
at the fucking table, and I was
I
waiting for
willingly
the
gave it
moment.
away.
Hey, yo.
He could have it.
But no, like you can't. So
Are
like
you gonna
with
tell
her,
us what extrapolate means?
And I spelled that shit wrong. I got it.
you
I got autocorrect. Take it easy.
Come on.
What is extrapolate? No, I just really
Extrapolate. So you're taking something from it.
boom.
Right? So
I should have used my
extracting
context
something,
clues.
okay?
All right, we back.
So basically, for this tweet that she initially gave, right, saying what justice has been served, or that a miscarriage of justice. You know what I mean? Let me read this specific, the part that I highlighted. So sorry. No, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So a miscarriage of justice was corrected, right? It's easy to extrapolate what you want from that based on your lens, right? For some people who are more familiar with legal processes, right? And due process can know, like, okay, well, this was as a result of things being overturned because along the lines, people dropped the ball, misled him, and he gave testimony on the presumption that it will not be used against him. But they levied it against him when it actually came time for this trial. So we don't know if that was her frame of mind or if her frame of mind was, this is my friend. I don't think he did it from the rip. So he's out. So justice has been served. We don't know that. She didn't give any context for that. Good. So people are going to draw from that what they will because it was just a quick maybe one or two sentences, and they did. And that's the problem. I say you need, whenever you're posting something, especially about a hot button topic or even something serious to this magnitude, you have to give a level of clarity and context to that, so that it's very hard for people not to have that wiggle room to say whatever.
Right.
Yeah, because essentially at its core, she's right.
She's right. She's absolutely
Like
right.
she's 100%. Yeah, like technically,
she's right.
She's right.
She's right.
She's right. And if you take that if you take that with an educated look, through an educated lens, you can say, okay, well, yeah, Felicia made the right choice. She said the right thing. Yeah, she's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it from the broad scope, in the scope of looking at Cosby himself, as an entity throughout all of that, you going, oh, there go another one.
And there's a couple of more scopes too, but with sensitivity in mind, I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not, and I'm not gonna dig.
There's a lot of scopes. No, but I want to jump in before we have to move on because Josh is like, all right, 5 minutes. An associate of mine took to her Facebook account and pinned these words, and I want to share them. She said, there are simply two sides, people that believe Cosby is guilty and people that believe he is innocent. Boom, nothing more, nothing less. She went on to later say, the truth is there was room for reasonable doubt. Him being convicted proves nothing. Him being released proves nothing. Having that difference in opinion is quite okay. And that's for my girl, China Nicole. Shout out to China.
Shout out China.
Yeah, I have to say, if nothing else, I concretely agree with this. Like, in no way, shape, or form am I about to cancel Felicia Rashad.
Not at all.
Okay, for publicly supporting a man that she personally knows and believes to be innocent. Okay,
Exactly.
I do understand the lack of sensitivity in that tweet. And agree with what you share, Holden. You know what I mean? In the event he is actually guilty of these allegations, but if she wants to support her homie, let her do that.
But context is everything, though, right? So in 2017, at least 6 women filed lawsuits against the University of Howard University for failing to respond quickly to reports of sexual assault. The following year, students occupied the school's administration office, demanding better policies for dealing with sexual assault, among other calls for improved housing and temporary tuition fees. That's from the Washington Post.
Gotcha.
So for her to hold
I didn't
a role,
know that.
right? So for her to hold a role,
At
at that
particular
place,
university.
there's context there.
That
So
makes
for people
perfect sense.
who created petitions to have her come sit down, I don't know if she needs to sit down from her position, but there's just cultural context in that school behind people who are sitting in the place of administration.
I get that.
You know what I mean? And
Thank you for sharing that.
And that's my thing is that I don't think that, just like with Bill Cosby, you're not absolved of your actual actions, right? So there are consequences to everything, whether positive or negative. There's a consequence to everything you do.
Yeah.
So if I'm an employee at Qdoba, right, and I felt like Rob and Will Charbonnet, that's my old bosses, they the franchise owners in the Philadelphia region.
Like they got good
But no, like,
brands.
love them. But like, so if I created a tweet against Will or Rob, right, and said, you know, they this, da da da, they don't care about black people, da da da, whatever.
Yeah.
And I took to my social media. If they got wind of that, they absolutely have the right to fire me, right? So I don't know. We need to censor people's use of social media, but there's wisdom. There's wisdom in when you do post something. What are you saying?
No, I agree with you. I do think, I do think our generation in particular and the generations that immediately follow us have been so, I guess, I don't know. Let me not go down. Let me wait.
Oh, say what you want.
No, D, because I want jump in what you was going
I
to
just
say.
feel like definitely Felicia Rashad should not be canceled because she's showing her loyalty to that man in a situation where I feel both sides still have they bear the burden of truth. Both sides.
Yeah.
He gotta show that he not lying.
I'll be damned. I'm gonna be honest. I'll walk. I'm not. Anyways. I'll be damned if I cancel Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like
doing that.
I was willing to walk on eggshells for everything else. I'm not motherfucking canceling Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, we're not doing
I love Felicia Rashad. Okay, and frankly, I do get frustrated with the whole idea of cancel culture in general.
Yes.
Like,
Right.
I feel like if you want to personally unsubscribe from somebody's personal brand, that's your business,
Yeah.
right? But this idea of like rallying the troops
Yeah.
in support of like completely doing away with someone's brand as quickly as we do it. Because to be clear, I'm not saying that this is something that should never happen. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But I definitely do feel like it gets abused more often than not.
Absolutely.
And so,
So true.
you know what I'm saying? I do want us to take a moment and just communicate where we stand when it comes to cancel culture in general. With the first questions being, number one, is cancel culture too much? And number two, when do you think it is appropriate to cancel someone? D, let's talk about it.
Man, listen. In certain situations, yes, I do think that certain shit need to be canceled. Okay? In the words of Miss Beloved Latrice, time out for the goofy shit. Period. Some goofy shit do need to be canceled, but I don't know about canceling people necessarily, right?
Yeah.
Ostracism is a real thing.
Thank you.
That's a real thing.
That's
good word, D.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
I got that shit right.
There we go. Applause for that.
Oh,
That was
excellent.
good.
Like, no.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud. She said ostracism, ladies and gentlemen. That's my fucking friend.
No, seriously though, that can't be good for a motherfucker's self-esteem. It cannot.
For real.
Maybe canceling certain practices, like discriminating or like outright cruelty to somebody or a certain group of people, but not for having an uncommon opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like people be saying some dumb shit. and you know we got to get them out of here sometimes.
People say dumb shit all the time, every day, B.
We got to get the dumb shit that they be saying out of here, but canceling a person altogether, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Jerome, what
I mean, especially when we talk about a lot of the canceling happens over social media.
Yeah.
Like social
That's
media
what it is. It's
where
a social media thing, I feel.
and it's a product of groupthink. It's a product of
Come on.
let's pile on.
Y'all smart as shit at this joint.
Groupthink.
Write that shit down too.
Yeah,
It's been months. I forgot how smart you motherfuckers was.
Okay.
Groupthink is just when the masses are dictating how you decide
Yep.
you're
Exactly.
going to think.
Yeah.
And what's happening is we see this so often in social media where one person says one thing, somebody decides to pile on, and this whole situation grew from a little tweet.
Yeah.
Like a little tweet, a little post on Instagram, and then it blew up. And now this person is famous for going after somebody and making a stupid statement.
Ain't it crazy?
And you look at it and it's like, oh, this is a person with 13 followers.
Ah!
And at the
We going up, Jay. Anybody remember that motherfucking? Oh, I got it. Go ahead.
it'll be a person with 13 followers out here hype, excited that now that I've said something that has been, blown up to massive proportions. And that's my issue. Like cancel culture has become such a thing now.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to throw out every day a new person that we're going to cancel. And just like you said, being ostracized is not fun.
Absolutely.
Being pushed out of the group is not fun,
Absolutely
especially
not. I know that
because
firsthand.
I share a small little. My thought is a little bit deviated from the group.
The general manager.
You want to cancel me? They tried the same thing with Steve Harvey when he met with Trump.
Come
they tried the same
on.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it with T.I. There's more to that, but no, we're not getting into that right now. They're trying it with T.I. and T.I. don't give
Where
a
is he?
fuck.
He might be canceled. I don't know. I ain't been keeping
Like,
up.
but they've tried it over and over and over and over
And
again.
sometimes they succeed.
And sometimes they succeed.
Kerry
And the-
Hilson's still trying to bounce back. God bless her.
And the crazy
Chrisette
part
Michele,
is
a lot of
Chrisette Michele. Carrie Hilson was canceled for not being the biggest fan of a person.
She
line stepped. She line stepped.
On a fan group.
Nah,
It
she
doesn't
cut
nah.
a record. She cut a diss record to Beyonce, and the thing is, the Beehive is unfuckwitable. But
See what I'm saying?
That's the
That's
problem.
the problem.
I'm
You can't
agreeing
cancel
with
that. Yeah.
I'm agreeing
You
with
can't
you.
can-
Now we out.
I get it. Now Beehive is strong, and I'm a member. But you can't.
DeLoria said,
Sorry,
I'm one
not
and the one.
sorry, Kilson.
She said,
Hilson,
I'm one and the one.
whatever her name is.
And on a larger level, as a member of the Beehive, Carrie, you got some work to do, baby. But it's not cool. It's not cool to just go after people in that manner. The way we're talking about it is in jest.
Yeah.
It's in jest. The way I assume we're all
No, for
thinking
sure.
about
Yes.
stuff like that. But
But it is a serious.
that's serious to
It
push
is.
people out, to have people by themselves that feel like nobody's around. That drives people crazy.
Yeah.
To the what everyone's been saying, and the continuous conversation.
Yeah.
Canceling, I think sometimes in and of itself is not a bad thing. I don't think it should be indefinite, right? Saying that there's no path of redemption,
There you
right?
go.
Because
There
there are
you
a
go.
lot of facets of our society where mercy is at the seat of our belief systems, whether
Yep.
it's a religion, a philosophy, our own very own penal system,
Very good.
right? It's not perfect, but there's an idea of you'll serve this much amount of time for what you did. You have to pay restitution for
Yep.
what you did.
Yep.
And after that point, technically, as they say, it's
Right,
not
right,
true.
right, right,
It's not
right.
real.
No, but I'm
as they
following
say,
you. I'm
there's a
following
level
you.
of mercy where it's like we have a limitation on how long we're going to hold you into this social purgatory where you can't get out of it, right?
Yeah.
But that's easy. We're in a Rome Colosseum era now, where like the people get to say like,
Is that what it is?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like they would be like, no, the audience decided, is this person going to die or not? If you're sitting in the Coliseum, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And- but-
yeah.
and you
Thumbs
hold-
up, thumbs down.
Exactly. You hold no responsibility
That's
as
deep.
you hold no
is.
responsibility
Holden
as
Jones,
social
ladies
media.
and
Oh my
Yes. He's a deep thinker.
Hey, yo, hey,
and
yo.
I like deep.
Give it to me, baby.
I'm done.
But no, there's no responsibility from being a member of social media who's anonymous. I have 100 followers, I have 1,000 followers, whatever it is, however many. There's no obligation if you're in a group think. And a lot of people are thinking like you because you can be like, oh, I hate this person, let's cancel them. That we rally behind it because we're mad and we're fuming. You walk away from it, never have to think about it again.
Exactly.
But just the justice system,
the personal knowledge out of that.
Exactly. But the justice system, religion, a lot of those things have to be responsible for whatever sentence you give out to this person for whatever action or deed they have. You're responsible for the wraparound. So what's the point of restitution or the path of mercy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone should be allotted some form of grace.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
And we're walking.
Well, I do agree with that. Certain people that, like, in my mind that I have personally canceled, like Trump, I don't see
him.
like paths of grace.
Fuck him from the beginning to the end.
So I feel like I don't want to fuck him, but I feel like
fuck that nigga.
I feel like there are exceptions.
Yeah, I do too.
There are exceptions. I'm not uncanceling some people.
I said ostracism
That's
is
just
real.
me.
I didn't say it wasn't necessary.
But here's the
This is
thing,
true.
though. But here's the thing, though. Like, because I think if we hadn't seen so much of
Fuck Trump.
politicians and other folks, right, who do things that are performative, right. So it's not. I don't need you to go to a community center, hug a couple black babies, and
Exactly.
do a
Come
photo
on
op.
here.
So it's not about something that's performative to show restitution, but there has to be a level of what is it going to take if we're going to hold people accountable. What is it going to take for you and the magnitude of your transgression to be reacclimated or to reenter our society again?
Yo, Black Femininity TV on YouTube shed some light on Stacey Dash's fall from graciousness, fall from black graciousness. Because it's a thing.
It's a cancellation for me. It's gonna be a cancellation.
She's always my first frame of
terrible.
reference when I think
It's
about.
clueless.
No,
when
but
think
I
about
did
cancel
because she's
culture.
bad.
I know
and
what she means to people, but
But this though, people, we cancel people because of something that they said in like a frame of like a moment in time. You know what I'm saying? Like you,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's harsh. And so like Holden said, we should. Like it should be for a certain period of time. You know what I mean?
I can agree
I don't
with
know.
that.
I don't know
To a
how.
certain
I don't know how. I'm not going to put a stamp on the amount of time. 2 years,
Right.
3 years. But how? Like you
Forever.
said, how do you get back? Trevor Noah said in this New York Times interview, people are more angry about a comedian when they make a joke about a topic than about the topic itself.
Good. I like.
Remember
that.
when I freaked out earlier when you said something, Holden?
Yes.
Society wants to have control over what people say about something as opposed to about getting to the root of the topic, right?
Absolutely.
So why are we so upset about what Stacey Dash said? Right? What did she
Right.
say? What's the root of why we are angry for real?
So to that
That's
point,
what we should be angry about. Is
Right.
That's
Not
the
the
point. That's a good
person.
point. And so the thing is, like,
Per
I
se.
know
The difference in opinion. It was a difference in opinion.
So a couple years ago, I know people. It was coming up about young girls who were being trafficked. Right, that came to the light. On social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about that. So people will focus on that, but ignore the fact that along Roosevelt Boulevard there are a string of motels where guys take young girls and young boys to have sex along Roosevelt Boulevard. That's common knowledge,
And the thing-
right?
Oh,
we
no,
know.
I didn't know
And
that.
we know.
But there are a lot of people who do know that, right?
Yeah.
And who are along that Roosevelt Boulevard from Adams up for a little while. There are a
It's
string
craziness.
of motels
No,
where
it
people
is.
drive little girls and boys up there, and they pimp them out. We know this, but we say, like, oh, somebody needs to do something about something, and won't say nothing to a politician, a state rep, or nothing. But when a celebrity may come out against something and say, well, you know, whatever, they'll attack the person who either may speak against or to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not actually go to like, hey, this is something that's happening in my neighborhood.
Right.
We need to do something about this.
Right.
Very good point. Here's my take on cancel culture. Okay, and you know, like I have to admittedly say, I definitely participate in cancel culture. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like you know, and not every moment of my participation is something that I regret. I'm gonna be honest.
That's
but
honest.
I'm just
we
gonna
said
be
it's
honest.
necessary. It is necessary.
I do have to say this though, as a person who experienced bullying at a young age, you know, there are triggering moments. There are moments when I witnessed the power of cancel culture, and like part of me grieves for folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I almost wish I could instill like boundaries into just the vast majority of people. Seriously, the general public, just to say, hey, not this time, or hey, not this deep, or hey, like now is a safe time to do this and that and whatever. But even when I say that out loud, what I hear is this. Every person has their own set of values and points of integrity, right? And I could never suggest that a person who's taking a stand against something that they wholeheartedly don't believe in is doing something wrong. again, I'm a person who believes in speaking your truth and all of that. You know, I do though think that there is a danger of the culture of it.
Yeah.
You know, it straddles a very thin line for me that flirts with cyberbullying and that I can't get behind that or stand beside that. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you completely. It's as a culture. I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
As a culture,
the culture of it is problematic to me.
It is because that plays into the bullying aspect. That's the part where everybody's like, pile on them. Hey, see this person? Pile on.
You know what it's like getting fired from a job, right? I can
relate.
Not really. I guess it is to an extent. So like,
jobs.
Remember when they tried to cancel Kevin Hart because of his old tweets?
They tried to cancel a lot of people.
They tried to cancel Kevin Hart.
They tried to cancel.
They definitely tried to cancel Doja Cat. Cat.
I put that on.
Yes, Doja Cat.
Shia LaBeouf a couple times. He was drawing.
I love him, but where is he though? Because has he actually been canceled or no? Because I haven't seen him in a minute.
Shia LaBeouf
He's canceled if you haven't seen him.
Nah, he ain't been really canceled.
I don't
he
think
just
he
kind
might
of
still be
at
off
work.
the radar.
I
That's
actually
all.
really like him.
He's a phenomenal actor, actually.
He really is.
Janeé saying hi for a different reason.
For a whole different
Kanye
reason.
West.
They tried to cancel Kanye West? No. Kanye West was canceled.
No, they went at the Kanye got canceled.
I just want to say that we need to keep our brother in prayer. I honestly think Kanye can make a comeback at any time.
I've always been a fan of Kanye West, but he
love
was on
my
some
brother,
serious
man.
fuck shit.
I think Kanye is sick, y'all. He's really sick, and I think that he's in a sunken place.
Come on,
I'm
sunken
serious.
place.
I'm so serious.
Yes, the sunken place is called cancel.
Hey, yo.
Kanye, you good in my book, brother. I like it.
Jerome hasn't canceled Kanye.
I mean, neither. I'm not.
Did.
It was I gotta be honest. I've been struggling with Kanye ever since he married Kim, but that's just me.
Falls down. God damn.
Shit.
But
I think anybody can overcome adversity now.
I think so. I think so too. I think
Tell that to Carrie Hilson.
You shouldn't have fucked with B, baby.
She just need to get back into B's good graciousness.
her and Trick Daddy.
It's not gonna happen.
Who?
Trick
Daddy. Yeah, they not coming back.
Trick
They not coming
Daddy.
back. Yeah, they
Damn,
not
Trick.
coming back.
No, but I like Carrie Hilson. Let me just say, like, I was a huge
I like
fan
Trick
of her.
Daddy.
Dope as fuck. Take her to the house.
Shit.
I like Trick Daddy. Okay, well, in the spirit of cancellations, I do have to say, TikTok recently experienced a wave of cancellations that I'm 100% here for. Okay, personally, me myself.
Right.
With the release of Meg Thee Stallion's Thought Shit, which is a banger.
Will not be canceling Meg
or
her knees
or
her calves
thought shit.
or
hands
her
on my
ass.
knees, shaking ass on my thought shit. Hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thought shit. I'm sorry, I really like that song.
That's funny.
Shaking that ass.
Shaking.
On my thought shit.
I'm not on my thought shit, babe. I'm not.
Where you at? Where you at with it?
I'm
where
not.
you at with it? DeLoria, where you at with it?
I'm on my
She
Holy
on her
Ghost
Mary
filled
shit.
wife shit.
Not Holy Ghost filled wife shit. Anyway, we're back.
I'm on my knees praying
Right.
to God on my wife's shit.
It's the prayer and supplication for me. It's the prayer and supplication.
They should have never told me that Peter was a cusser. I'm serious. Because I'd be like, fuck it.
Holy Ghost filled wife shit.
He was
Got
rolling
it.
with Jesus. Jesus heard the words
Are you preaching right
shit
now?
before.
It's the tequila.
It is definitely. I'm hot as shit.
Yo.
She got the least amount on out of all of us.
Right. She like, I'm hot.
My husband approved.
You know, shout out to Doug. But anyway, Black TikTok made a collective conscious choice to withhold any new dance videos connected to the song in an effort to not have their creativity co-opted by the whites.
Say it again. What is it?
The whites. I got that from Holden. That's how Holden, refer. Anyway, for those unaware, TikTok dance crazes are generally created by artists of color. And then they go viral among the mainstream community without the original creators ever having really received full credit for their work. Now, we've seen many styles of protest before, especially in our lifetime, but I'm particularly interested in this one, and I'll share why in a bit. But Jerome, you brought this topic to the table, and I'm interested to hear your take on this. As a Black creative, how do you feel about not only creating a content strike, but about this strike in particular?
This strike in particular sticks out to me because Black creators have made TikTok what it is. That is what it is. Over 2020. we saw a rise in TikTok, and
Come on.
bunch of it was from Black creators.
Period.
It's quite interesting to see. I will say this: Sarah Jackson is on MSNBC. Sarah Jackson, she was interviewed. What is a portion of her interview? She's an associate professor at UPenn, and she said a large swath of American popular culture.
Write that shit down.
Swath.
I'm back.
That's
It
Professor Lake.
feels good. Anyway.
She said a large swath of American popular culture comes from Black culture, and that is before the internet even existed.
It's facts.
Yeah.
So we have seen for so long that Black creators have had their styles, their ideas taken, co-opted, and reappropriated for larger white audiences, and then the credit is given to the white artist or the white person.
Yeah.
We've seen it as far back as, crediting who's the founder of rock and roll, who started
Come on.
that style.
Teach the people.
Right.
So
Throw
to
me
Lay
out.
down
from
the
there and
facts.
to look back and say, well, Chuck Berry didn't look like what we wanted him to look, so let's give this to Elvis. You know what I'm saying? Or let's take this song from this Black artist and give it to Perry Como. Let's take this song from Little Richard
hot in
and
here.
put it in here. There are so many artists. There are so many artists that have had their styles, their thoughts, and their creative brands taken from them
Big
and
facts.
reappropriated. And
Yeah.
what I love about it is that finally we have a medium in which Black creators can say, no.
You know, I agree with you. I think that's very interesting because personally, I feel like this strike had so much more power than what was actually demonstrated.
Oh, listen, it hit hard.
So much more than
It
what was
hit hard,
actu-
and they're
I-
not going to give it the credit it
I
did.
feel like TikTok is huge.
Yeah.
Humongous.
TikTok is huge. It's arguably the largest social media platform currently. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Anytime a president try to cancel that shit.
period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the demographic of artists responsible for making its biggest
Talk
trends
about it.
pop is, in my opinion, they represent the most underrated genre of artists, which we will dive deeper into in a second. But I just feel like folks could have really, really taken their power back with this. And, you know, while their momentary silence was heard, I don't know if they still striking or what, I'm not really that deep into TikTok, but while their momentary silence was heard and felt, and it did go viral, you know what I mean? I feel like it could have been more impactful. I feel like it could have been a more impactful protest. I don't know. You know, not for nothing, as I said, I'm not an avid TikToker, so I didn't really feel the pain as much as some others may have. But I don't know, to me, it did feel like a bit of a safe protest. And I understand that for many people, TikTok is an income stream. So I'll never vote to fuck up a bag ever, because we're not doing that. But when you start speaking the language of strikes and protests, I don't know. I love them for doing it. I love them for having the mind to do it. But I just feel like greater risk could have been taken with the goal of greater impact.
I think it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
It was a boycott, right?
Yeah.
We didn't cancel TikTok after that. It's hella entertaining.
I like it.
We like
DeLoria
TikTok.
is never gonna.
I'm not canceling TikTok. How else do you think I'm going to get to sleep at night? Hey,
How you getting sleep at night?
I'm
You
tired.
always in my DMs with some TikTok shit. When is the sleep happening? But anyway,
That's the power of TikTok.
no,
Yeah.
for real.
That's the power of TikTok.
It really is.
And that's the interesting thing is that
Absolutely.
as Black creatives, they didn't demand, hey, stop looking at TikTok. They said, we are not going to create content
Very
which you
true.
can then
Very
appropriate
true.
and then
Exactly.
end up on an Ellen DeGeneres show or a Jimmy
Exactly.
Fallon or
Exactly.
whoever.
Where you
and
gain
monetize
fame.
off of it.
Very good,
They didn't
very
ask for
good.
that.
That was
and
some
I think
nonsense.
This
That
was
was crazy.
I think for us, this is one of the first times we in our lifetimes have been able to see us move unilaterally.
Yeah.
Like a group of us move unilaterally.
Come on.
Like, you know what I'm
on
saying?
now.
So it has happened
Holden
before in the
Jones, ladies and
past.
gentlemen.
It's happened in the past before, so I'm not discounting it in the past. But in our lifetimes, right,
Yeah.
to see because you always hear, or I always hear, let me not generalize things. I always hear in advocate groups or, community meetings or whatever,
Yeah.
we never move the same. We got to get on one accord.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, too.
We say
We
it a
hear
lot.
that.
Yeah.
We say it a
Come on,
lot. And the
church.
reality is, like, this is an example.
Hey, yeah.
This felt good. This felt good
It
as
did.
a win, even
It
though it was
Yeah.
TikTok. It felt good. Like, yo, we're moving unilaterally in this
Yeah.
direction. It's no rap. It's no you don't got to cancel this. We just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to see us take that creative capital control back, control of our creative capital back.
Respect.
Out of a century. It's been a century. So the music industry is not that old, right? In America, it's roughly 100 years old, right? So to see us do something in the entertainment industry
Yeah.
to take that back. It feels good. And I would hope that it would inspire, again, not trying to take the bag away from, you know, a Chris
Anybody,
Brown
yeah.
or anybody else, but I would love to see people who are much more successful, more affluent, more in the public eye, take that same stance collectively
Yeah.
against record executives,
And that's
against
my
conglomerates.
point.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
That
and
speaks to
also,
my point.
And also because they're capitalizing off of not just appropriation, but also of our, like, Whitney Houston's death should not have happened. Michael Jackson's death should not have happened.
Wait a
Like, you
minute
understand what
now.
I'm saying? These deaths
Hold
should not have
on.
happened.
Well, we're digging
They
now.
should not have happened. And my
Shit.
thing
Here
is
now.
this: so
Since we here.
when you have a Clive Davis or
Come
you have
on,
anybody
Holden.
who's saying, "Hey, this is a cash cow. Continue to create music because you're on contract. Continue to create things. Go out and tour to make your money back. Your album sales will pay for the producers, the engineers, the AR, all those different things. But you're touring. That's in your pocket for you and your team to allow them to continue going ahead when you have mental health issues,
Come on.
when you have drug and substance abuse issues,
Come on.
and say, no, just go into the world and do what you got to do. Make us profits, right? But in any other corporation in America, if it was a computer software company or whatever, you showed up to work high, drunk, anything, they're telling you to go to fuck home.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no level of, hey, we're watching it in real time right now with Chris Brown, and people are quiet about it because he has not ended up in rehab.
Ooh.
But we're watching it in real time. And I wish that people would say, like, you know what, Chris Brown, no, I know you're not doing as much as you used to do, but yet and still, sit down.
Yeah.
Get help, get wellness, and also the machine that makes them turn to substances, because having to tour is hard on the body.
sure.
It is so hard on the body to day after day to deliver audience night after night after night. Your vocal, you just don't feel it all
Yeah.
the time. So
No,
they have to take
legit.
drugs to, like, I need to perform every single time.
This is facts.
And
No,
that's
it
the
is.
machine.
Big
So
facts.
that's why I say I wish that more of the higher successful affluent creatives, I don't want to take away bags, so I get it, they got their people to feed and they got their families or whatever,
Yeah.
but I wish collectively there was a sense of, you know what, these conglomerates, these entertainment conglomerates, these all these different things, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this. And until you change the language in these contracts and the way that our deals are set up, I can't help you right now.
That's good.
Ooh.
That's good.
That's Holden Jones, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
old.
Hey, yo.
Period.
But this is why.
Ooh, that was good,
very
Bess. God damn.
It built up that, yeah. Like, this is why I respect the Rihanna. Because you ain't getting it. They've been calling for a Rihanna album for how long?
She said, I'll give it to you when I'm
Rihanna said,
fucking
"You get
ready
this
or
album
never."
when I get this album," and some of her responses are literally like,
Fuck yo.
"Fuck you."
Yeah. We
Like-
gonna be waiting for the
Like,
I respect it.
You gonna get this album when I feel like giving you
No,
this
for
album.
real.
After
Same
the
thing with
Fenty
the
sweatsuit.
Cardi B is the same way. You gonna get this album
Party gang.
when I give you this album. It's not really like I'm not rushing to give you what you want when you want it just because you're saying I'm under contract and I'm under this and I'm supposed to give you. I'll get you when I get it to you.
Yeah.
You okay? You'll be all right.
Are you okay?
You okay?
You all right?
You okay?
I make you money.
You.
That part.
One thing
I make
that
you money.
Yeah.
That was good.
One thing that I do respect about the TikTok creators, the Black creators, specifically, is
Black.
that they never stopped creating. They were still creating,
Right.
getting views, no followers missed, being their beautiful Black selves.
Come on here.
Right? We not about to be shucking jobbing for you, motherfuckers. But right now, right here, there's nothing to appropriate from. Right? You
Are they
can't.
still on strike?
I
think
doubt it.
so.
Yeah, I wouldn't
so.
doubt it. I
Have
wouldn't
you
doubt it.
seen the
Ain't nobody
the
really
white
dropped nothing.
videos?
Yeah,
Have you
I feel
seen-
like right at this we're in the season.
I have.
signal.
I have.
They can't
I have
dance no
seen it.
more.
Rough.
TikTok is going through one of these
never
phases
could
where
dance.
like the fraud is now rearing its ugly head, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? This is one of those times where remember how in Scooby Doo they used to like take the mask
Yes,
off the
of the villain,
antagonist.
the
Oh,
villain.
yes.
Yep,
Come
yep.
on.
That's
you
what's
see who it really
happening.
was.
That's what's
Ooh.
happening.
And
right
that's a
now.
great point. So you know what? That's interesting is that because to any listeners who might be white,
Emphasis on the H.
emphasis on the H.
Yo,
before
one of my
the Y.
coworkers was like, "Can I listen?" I said, "You sure
Please do.
can?"
Please do. Please do.
Not.
Where's the way? Welcome
do.
you
Absolutely.
all.
Because
Come
a
on.
lot of them in America, right? I'm not going to talk about abroad, but a lot of them in America struggle with the fact of, okay, here we hear you, but we don't see the application for the things you Black folks are talking about right now. This is a great indication
Exactly.
of this is passive privilege.
Yes,
when
it
you
is.
talk about, hey, I'm going to appropriate these dances, this routine off a 30-second TikTok, a 59-second TikTok, and I'm going to end up on the Jimmy Fallon show, get
Yep.
credit for it.
Yep.
That's passive privilege. Right, and that's what we're saying is that there are things that systemically you're being put in a different position to benefit from than we do.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't exist.
That's why I love
we
cameras.
don't exist.
Right.
I'm a quote me.
I'm a quote me.
Come
and
on.
give a shout out to Ver, my son. In the
Very my song.
in issue 2, I wrote an article entitled "We Are the Standard," and at the end, I'm just gonna read the last few sentences. It says, "Many of us heard the statement, 'You must work twice as hard to be half as good.'
Yeah.
Far too often, half as good would be an overwhelming difference to what we currently receive. Black artists create culture. Black art defines culture. Black art is the standard. It's about time that we are recognized as such."
Yeah.
And
Here for that. Love it. 100%. That's Jerome Scott,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, I had to quote me for a little bit.
I
Pat
ain't
myself in
mad
the
at
back.
it.
This is us putting Karen, Kevin, Katie, and Kyle on notice.
It's putting you on
You
notice.
saying stop taking our shit.
You gonna pay
and
what you
saying
owe.
It's all you get. This is all you.
Pay your
Get the fuck
fare.
outta
Pay your
here.
fare.
Get
Pay
the
your
fuck
fare.
outta here. Yo, I watched the fucking compilation. I watched a compilation of people like talking about like just black artists talking about the strike. And one of the girls was just saying one of the dances that they made just looked ridiculous. She was like, just follow the instructions, hands on my knees. She was pissed. She ain't had no routine to follow.
Hey, yo.
Get your dumb ass out the mirror, bitch.
Get out.
Listen, before we have to move on from this, I want to touch on one thing. Now, TikTok is one of those platforms that gives a voice to the underrated artists, right? It's not the only platform, but it's definitely one of the ones. And you know, we've seen and heard many artists over the years protesting, if you will, on behalf of feeling underappreciated or taken advantage of when it comes to their art, right? Just last season, we discussed Selah Marley and the whole Rihanna debacle. Now, I would love for us to just take a moment and just highlight some artists who we feel may be underrated out here, and I'm happy to start. Okay, since we were discussing TikTok, the TikTok situation, and I do happen to come from a dance background. Shout out to Kappa Dance 04, Philadelphia, Gwendolyn by Dance Center, period. Shout out to all of the above. I just have to say, you know, I sincerely feel that the entire community of choreographers is grossly underrated and underappreciated. Had it not been for the Sean Bankheads, which is a choreographer of Up, Cardi B, and the Paris Goebels, she choreographed J-Lo Super Bowl and Rihanna Savage Fenty show, and the Jaquel Knights, choreographer for Beyonce. And listen, these people's resumes are long as fuck, and the list goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? Go well beyond what I'm even sharing. But had it not been for them, not only would these artists' videos not be half of what they are, but TikTok especially wouldn't even be a thing, darling. Like, let's just be real clear.
Darling.
No, seriously, you know, and I just personally feel like choreographers are people we should all, as a creative community, know by name for as much as they contribute to the culture. So shout out to all the choreographers of the world who are spending timeless hours creating movements to coincide with song visuals.
Right.
Yes. Working with artists who have two left feet to make them look good.
Right.
Casting and rehearsing dancers and the whole nine, you know, only to go unnoticed in the end. Honey, no, we're not doing that. Choreographers are incredibly underrated as a whole in the industry of creators. Now, D, I want to hear from you, then Jerome, then Holden. Who are you guys' picks for underrated artists?
For underrated artist, I would say Mr. Black Thought.
I thought she was going to say
Oh,
Toby.
so was I. I was like, she's gonna say Toby and Wingway, and I'm gonna be like,
That's not his fucking name. That's not his fucking name.
It's
but
Wigway.
his name is definitely going to happen right now. Listen. Stop getting it fucked up with me. You already know. I love
I'm so glad
my
we
main
got
man.
visuals.
I gotta stop cussing.
They can see
I'm
my
not
face.
gonna stop
Jerome, we were right here. I knew you was going to say Toby, bitch.
He is
knew
definitely tied into Mr. Toby Wigway.
So wait, who was the first person you said?
Black Thought.
Oh, Black Thought. I'm not
Yeah.
mad
I
at that.
feel like
Tariq.
he's not talked about enough. He's a real lyricist for me.
I'm
love
not mad at that. I love
artists
that.
that
I love
exercise the dictionary in a way that expands someone else's vocabulary. That's why I think Toby is dope.
I ain't mad at that though. Okay, so that was a smooth set.
I'm not like
I thought you was going to lead with
I
the
thought you was
Toby
gonna lead
with
Wigway. Is it Wigway? without the N?
Wigway.
Weebway.
All right.
Toby.
I'm not an avid Black Thought fan, but I respect his artistry, especially his freestyle rap.
Yeah, his pen. Yes.
So for those new to the pod this season, DeLoria's a Toby Wigway enthusiast, and we love her for it. We really do. Jerome,
And moving on.
Shout out to Black Thought. Shout out to Black Thought.
Shout out
Philly.
to Black Thought.
Philly.
We tried it. What's
Philly.
the Roots?
Hell
The
yeah.
Roots.
Period.
Kappa. Kappa.
Hell yeah.
It's the Kappa
It
grads in
is.
here. There's some Kappa grads in here.
Yeah.
And Holden just slipped me a note that that's gonna be good, bro. Anyway, go.
There's an art. I wouldn't say he's under. Well, yeah, I would say he's underappreciated. But he's also not known very well. There's an artist on Twitter who I've come to follow his art very well. I'm gonna plug him. He don't know me. I don't know him.
That's cool. I know that's right.
Personally.
Show love.
But
Tough don't know me. Plug that nigga every
yeah,
episode.
you know. But
Somebody at that nigga. Sorry, Jerome. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, but his name is Alexander McWhirter, and he is his Twitter handle is Tank Us USS Art, and what he does is this type of digital paintings.
I love that it's not a performing artist. I
Right.
love that.
And I wanted to kind of lean away from that, but if you follow him, you will see some of the most beautiful
Whoa,
put together
I'm excited
pieces.
now.
And I'll actually show you guys like a
Please.
piece that he has.
Whoa, wait a
Like-
minute. Is he? So what is this? An oil painting? Like,
It's
what am I
a
looking
digital like creation.
at? So his
that
name's
he-
Alexander.
Alexander McWhirter.
I'm
That's
here for it.
amazing.
And
Shout out
these
to
are
you.
yeah. And
beautiful.
again, his handle on Twitter is Tank USS Art. He does
love
some
it.
phenomenal things. Look through him. He does offer his portraits up for sale.
Yeah, of course.
So you just gotta
Artist.
DM him. You DM him.
We're gonna
talk-
retweet
talk-
a couple of his
Definitely
things.
dope.
Absolutely.
That painting is ridiculous.
That is it's dope. It's dope. He says visual artist. I don't paint.
Oh, visual
Right.
artist. My
Yeah.
apologies, King. I don't mean no harm, Alex. I don't want no trouble.
We love
So,
you.
yeah.
Holden, chime in.
So I got to keep it in the Philly vein.
Come on.
Yeah.
Philly,
So
Philly.
we holding it down for Jasmine Sullivan. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Jazz. Definitely.
Janeé, we seen her since she was 13. Yeah, I mean,
Facts.
we seen her since she was 13,
Big
and we've seen her journey at Kappa. So
I love the year she's having.
Yeah.
you know, and that's my
She
thing.
out
Like
here.
the universe met her.
Yeah.
Like, the universe. Well, reality show like that was the bunt, right?
Yeah.
So, but this year the universe met her, but. It's been a journey, but you know what I'm saying? She's in, because people don't know, like people still don't know now, she was doing backgrounds for Fantasia.
Yep.
For that first album she did Free
On
Yourself.
albums.
She wrote songs for Fantasia,
Yep.
Tweet, Monica, so many different
Right.
people. Mary J.
Wow.
Blige, yeah. She's
Yeah,
been
people don't know. I
she's
didn't
been
know
in
that.
the game working with Missy,
was out
writing
here.
for folks since
She
2004,
been working.
2003. Like, you know what I'm saying? Probably a little before that. So I think people are getting into her now because it's lined up with a lot of women right now, right?
I
And
love it though.
The music has always been dope as fuck.
and because she dropped a
always.
fucking undeniable
Yo, that part-
EP.
Yeah, that
part-
shit was bomb.
Hotels
part-
still
yeah.
gets
That shit was
bumped
bomb.
That part.
Yeah.
regularly.
That part.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
That
Not
part.
me. I don't have bodies. That's not my story.
We're not gonna be doing this. That's what we're not gonna be doing.
My
so,
God.
in any event,
There you go.
in any event, I love that. You know, I love that we here at the Janeé Latrice podcast do create space for those who we feel may be underappreciated, because as artists ourselves, we understand that our relationship with our art holds a lot for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Many of us find our identity in our art. What we create is an extension of ourselves.
Yeah.
And for many of us, much of our mental health and wellness rests in the appreciation of our art. So shout out to artists everywhere. Keep creating, babies. We see you.
Yes, sir.
Now, you know, I did just use a buzz phrase here. Okay. I kind of want to unpack it a little bit with you guys. I did say mental health. You know, now, I don't know about you guys, but personally, I have recently seen an almost fanatic increase in discussions and practices surrounding mental health and self-care. It's almost trendy. It's almost a trendy thing to subscribe to, right? And some might suggest that the popularity of it may be damaging or take away from the gravity of its actual impact. We see many people capitalizing on the industry of it, or even, you know, some might say abusing the use of the language. So I have heard. You know, let's talk about it. Holden, I want to start with you because you're someone who I know to have a very, quote unquote, upright, for lack of a better term, an upright relationship with mental wellness,
Jesus
right?
Christ, no.
You have worked in the clinical counseling arena, and your overall approach to wellness is something that I've personally benefited from as a best friend of yours, a best friend of yours, who has had who has had her own, share of mental health challenges down through the years and what have you. What are your thoughts on this conversation? Has mental health, the conversation of it, has it gone too far or what?
Disclaimer.
Oh, shit.
Not for us.
Okay.
Anybody who's listening.
Okay.
Disclaimer. Because we talked about this with Felicia Rashad. When I'm speaking about something, it's not empirical, so it does not apply to everyone.
Yeah.
across
Okay, that's
the
another
board.
one. It is
Right.
empirical, but we gonna let you go.
It's not
gonna
an
create the
authority
Holden
for
dictionary.
everybody. Oh my
Period.
God.
Words with Holden.
It's just Webster.
Just
All right.
Webster.
It's just Webster.
You speak like you know that nigga personally.
That's my cousin's shoes.
Well, oh, that's my man's.
But anyway, no. So to anyone listening, everything I'm saying is not a hard and fast rule that applies to everyone. I think with social media, it's out of hand because there's a level that all of us need to acknowledge language, to agree on language for what we're experiencing, to find community in that language, right? And these experiences that we're having. So finding that community is one thing. The other part of it, though, is this whole, like, I pulled myself out of this situation. I need to thank me for this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all these different things, like, it's about me. When I feel this, I'm do that. Forget everyone who doesn't agree with me. Like, there's a lot of memes that circulate, on Instagram that I see. That I go through hundreds of them a day because you guys, that I curate my stories, right, with quotes and different things like that. So I go through hundreds of quotes and whatever things a day. But it gets out of hand because people become very self-centered. They become very self-centered where if you're not making me happy, if you're not doing the things I want to do the way I want it to be done, in the time I want it to be done, I'm going to either cancel you, you're not for me, or you're toxic, or you're this or you're that. And there is space for that for some people. But
Very
I think
true.
overall, it just helps people be more focused on, like, become childlike. Like, where children are very egocentric, where they're just like, if this is not about me, I don't care.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? This needs to feel good to me. I need to be entertained. You need to do this for me. You need to always be affirming me, treating me in the affirmative. And that's not reality. Or if something is too stressful, it's too much. I'm triggered. Stress is a part of life. And I'm not saying to anyone who does get easily stressed by things, you shouldn't take a mental health day or whatever.
Right.
But it's just that I think it's giving people a pass who would normally be virtually well adjusted. It's just giving them that extra bit of sensitivity to be like, you know what, well, it's just too much for today. It's just
So to be clear, because this is a personal question, are you agreeing that it's a bit out of control, or do you not think? Okay,
I am. I think it is.
So if you would allow me to shed a little bit of light on your perception of that. I'm not saying that your perception is wrong, but try this. When I was like going through, what we were going to be talking about, I actually looked that up. Narcissistic personality disorder is real.
It is very real.
And so the people that's driving it into the ground and making it about themselves, they themselves have a mental disorder.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, like, they don't know that they're doing that. They don't know that they're doing that. And so I think that individually it's your responsibility to say, and I'm not, it's your responsibility to say, if this is for me, I'm going to take it. Like I said, when we was in the first episode of the last season, plug.
I'll bust your ass. Oh, what
Wait.
No,
You play
but she
space.
said you play space. I'll bust your ass. That's the only thing I think. Anyway, go ahead.
You chew up the meat and spit out the bone. If it's not for you, it's not for you to take, right? And so maybe the people that's making it about them when they speak about mental health, like, they don't know that they are pouring something onto other people.
Very interesting.
Because they're
very good.
They're probably narcissistic themselves.
Very good.
I think mental health definitely should be something that's normalized. The talk about it should be normalized.
I love it.
On every front, in school, in church, work, the media. We should definitely be talking about mental health regularly.
I agree.
I think it's important for people to understand that if you do feel like there's something wrong, there's nothing wrong with seeking help. And you should always have a sense of security that you won't be judged, but supported by the people that care about you.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I fall
Jerome.
kind of like, because I understand both points.
Yeah.
And so where you're coming from, what I love about this discussion is that we have normalize a discussion about mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health has finally become a topic in which that's not taboo.
Yeah.
We can all talk about it. We can all
That's
state
important.
things. It's very important that we become people that can talk about what's
Yeah.
going on in our heads.
Definitely.
Right? At the same time, I do think that it does go too far. And when you talk about like narcissism, it doesn't necessarily mean all the. You can have a narcissistic moment or be
Yeah.
encouraged to do narcissistic things without having the disorder.
Right.
So you can be fully. I feel like the climate that we're in now encourages people to focus on themselves so much that they forget or don't care about anything else or anybody else around them.
Really?
So I do, and I think a lot of times it's like that. The idea is of it's not serving me. It's not serving me. It's not doing this for me. It's not doing this for me. It's not doing this for me. Removes community. And I'm big on community, like or if we're going to work as a community, we're going to all work together. But if I'm only focused on what services me, then I'm not actually worried about the community, because as soon as that community does something that I don't want it to do, I'm out.
But I think where then lie the boundaries, and where then lie you prioritizing your needs. Personally, I don't really understand the idea that any level of conversation surrounding mental health could be negative. And that's just me. And that's just me. People have to understand our generation is a very proactive generation, particularly when it comes to undoing things taught to us by previous generations that have done us harm.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, we were born and bred by a generation who did not see a therapist, by and large.
Frowned upon.
By and large. Okay?
Frowned upon.
Who did not prioritize mental health. And as a result, passed down issues to their kids that are now showing up today.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my generation is just not standing for it. That's how I view it. You know what I mean? Because we got work to do. We got shit to do. So even when I see friends, or I'm sorry, even when I see folks subscribing to trends of mental health practices, I liken it to the era that we're living through, which is very much the era of if you ain't posted on IG, it ain't happened, which I understand, whether you personally subscribe to that or not, that's your business, but that's definitely the era that we're living in. And for me, it's like, why not? Why not make therapy trend in a day where it is so needed? Why not popularize meditation and self-care practices when we're living through things like police murders and multiple homicides in our city and very, public injustices, and having lived through things like the Trump presidency? Why I'm not saying this shit again. Why, will we find fault and folks glamorizing wellness? It confuses me.
I think those are two slightly different conversations.
Okay.
Right. So seeking help or support for something else versus becoming very you-centric in terms of, hey, I'm experiencing this thing, fuck everybody else. 'Cause I'm sure all of us in the room have been in a situation where someone has been on the phone with us or in our presence and said, don't nobody here care about me. Don't nobody be trying to help me.
Just yesterday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, same. Where you're in a situation where somebody's saying that to you in real time.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that moment is not about you. But then when somebody like that may go online and see memes that just affirm, if they're not saying this, and this to you, they don't need to be in your life. If they're not talking to you in this way, if they're not treating you in this way, if they're not, dedicating 1,000% of their energy to you all the time, that there are some extreme memes that are being circulated. Extreme.
I agree
that part
with
right
that.
there.
Right.
I just feel like what is more impactful though? What is more important? Is it the extreme memes, or is it the fact that this is being normalized?
I think it's education. I think we have to educate ourselves instead of just falling into the general popularity of it.
Yeah.
Like it does, glamorizing it brings light, but it also brings a popularity that could water down the message.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are just falling into the trickle down effect. They're just they're down the stream going, okay, well, I'll take a little piece of that and then I'll roll with it. And it's like, well, you haven't immersed yourself in the whole process. So you can tell who's on the fringe and who's actually in there trying to work and better themselves, because there is a difference in their approach to how they deal with their own mental health and how their mental health impacts others. So what they have, so you see people, and they're the people who are fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck them. I do what I want. I do what I want. It's me. I got it out the mud. Ain't nobody here with me but me. Fuck all these people. Fuck my family. Fuck my mama. Like, yo, chill.
Right.
You clearly, because what you're doing in that moment is exposing that you have not done any work.
Oh. I just hoped that it was the explosion button. I just pressed anything.
Look at that. That was the Lord. God damn. But that exposed. You just told on yourself. The fact that you did all that.
I like
you said,
it.
hey, I don't really know anything
this is
about
good.
this.
Right.
I just like to talk about mental health as a thing and not immerse myself in the practices to make myself better.
Yeah.
And that is what I think is the problem that we're coming to. I have no problem with the glamorization. Just get yourself into it
To a
for real.
space. Yeah.
Read some books. See
Yeah.
a therapist.
Right, right.
Actually go through
Yes,
the processes
do
that
this.
people are putting themselves through so
Right.
that you don't have to sit on the side and read tweets all day and then gather your life from tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To his point about doing the work, I think the part that has gone too far is people that self-diagnose or try to diagnose somebody else. That's when it's going too far because you ain't done the work. You don't even know. You don't know what's wrong with you for real. You just you reading posts and you like, I must have such and such a thing because that's what I read on.
No, that's true.
Go see a doctor for real.
Yeah.
Go sit down and speak to someone for real.
And if you can't, because it's not, this is realistic, especially as people of color, black people specifically. I mean, dispel the people of color thing.
Black.
As black folks, right? Getting access to a therapist, to a licensed professional
Come
who can
on,
support you in a way
sir.
is not always real. So what I when I talk to people, if you're going to put out content, create a safety plan. If you feel stressed out, what are 3 to 5 things you can do to calm yourself down immediately? That don't require a device, that don't require something that needs you to go out. It can be going for a walk, getting a drink of water, taking a 5-minute break.
Ain't none of that stuff in my repertoire.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm talking about.
DeLoria been taking notes
You know
every
what I mean?
fucking time
But
Holden opens his mouth.
but to Jerome's point,
love Holden.
like there has to be a level of practice, not just let me isolate myself from the world, which actually amplifies depression all the more. Because the more you already feel isolated if you're depressed, right? If you're, I'm not discounting people who legit feel depressed or may have a clinical depression, but it's just if you are depressed, you already don't want to be around people because you feel like people don't care. So if you're seeing memes that are telling you, well, fuck everybody, they're not here for you, they don't really love you, you pulled yourself out of the mud, you can do it yourself, nobody's gonna love you like you, all these different things, and it's just like you're not really giving anybody a tangible tool to navigate in the interim their depression or whatever the thing is. It's just like, well, fuck everybody, you're gonna be isolated, and you're gonna keep feeding on those memes and those tweets, those statuses, whatever, because they affirm the negativity that you feel about others and affirm like, I am good, you're bad, leave me alone. You're not, you know what I mean? You can't, I'm hurt, you don't see my hurt, leave me alone.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But they don't push you towards any sort of track of I need support or help.
Right. We're all
laughing.
It's funny. You're fuck everybody.
Yeah, like I don't know why fuck everybody is like sending me fucking weird.
It's funny because we're all like,
That shit is killing me.
So in sum, Holden, you said
Fuck
practice
everybody.
helping yourself with mental health by doing 3 to 5 things that get you back to a stable frame of mind.
Well, that's
Next
built off of what
podcast
Jerome
meeting, you
said.
taking meeting minutes.
Yeah, that's built off Jerome, right?
but essentially a lot of people are
Shout out to
if
fucking
you've
Holden.
gone to
Go
college
Love 'em.
and taken psychology 101, people are essentially psychology 101 students.
Yeah.
They have taken their first class and now I can diagnose everybody. You're this,
scary.
I'm this, you're this.
Scary as fuck.
And you got a lot of people walking around with 3 credits.
On that note, we gotta move on.
Speaking of
Gotta
3,
get out of here. Listen,
What a segue!
switching gears a little bit before we get out of here, because we do gotta get out of here. But many things have been made more popular and more trendy over the last few years. Right along with mental health, with the mental health conversation, is the idea of polyamory or polygamous relationships. Okay. Now we've certainly seen a rise in redefining relationships and what they look like. Right? There's been more acceptance and or conversation about alternative lifestyles. For those who may not know exactly what these terms break down to mean, let's talk about it, right? Now, polyamory, according to Google, is the practice of engaging in multiple romantic and typically sexual relationships with the consent of all parties involved. Polygamy is the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. So it's my understanding that what separates the two terms is the actual marriage piece, right? Now, personally, I do have one relatively close friend who is a wife in a polygamous marriage. And I know of other folks who subscribe to the lifestyle, as well. And to them, I say, hey, whatever floats your boat. For me, the idea of committing to one person exhausts me sometimes.
That's honest.
So the thought of committing to multiple motherfuckers at once makes me want to take a nap even now. Now, seriously, you're talking about love languages, communication styles, finances, all of that. If you're doing this right, how do you even have time to do anything else? I don't know. That's just my initial thought on the matter. But D, I want to hear from you. You brought this topic to the table. Let's talk about it.
So, disclaimer, yes.
What you disclaiming first?
She said, feel a little hope coming through on you.
I will be forthright and honest in my opinions, y'all. I'm going to be honest. But I will tread lightly on this forum because I respect my marriage and my family.
Shout out to Reds.
Word.
So
it was your topic, but shout out to Reds.
Hey.
It was just kind of like throwing it out there. It wasn't like, hey, what do you, we should definitely talk about this.
Well, here we are.
All right. So polyamory is a new word to us, right? It's not really a new concept. It's new rules. It's not uncommon or foreign. I guess the idea of consent and disclosure is what makes it different. This is what we knew a few years back as an open relationship. Right?
Listen,
Or is it?
It depends.
I'll get into
It
that.
depends
But
on-
So listen, if you're a person,
necessarily the same.
if you're a person that's able to be honest with yourself about your needs and know how to verbalize it to your person of interest, and also in turn accept that person too wants the same thing, more power to you both. I don't see anything wrong with it. Your genitalia, that's your genitalia. You just keep it 100. Just keep it 100. That's how I see it. I would say that in this present season of my life, me and my husband's been together for 10 years. So let's
shout out to y'all.
Let's say if you presented this to me 10 years ago,
that's a long ass time.
Black love.
I may have answered very differently, but because of where I am in my life right now, in the life that I lead today, I can't say that this lifestyle would be accommodating to my family's future.
Very good.
But I do think that people can benefit from it and all that good stuff. I don't think it's anything wrong with polyamory.
She just like
I'm not about to.
What did you
she
say?
like
Hey, yo.
she
I'm
like was
treading-
like
You just think people can benefit from it? That's
I'm
it?
just
she went from
treading.
the deep end to the three
okay,
feet.
like,
Yeah.
Like she dove in, now she walking.
Dive in and then find shallow water.
what's going
What
on?
happened?
I don't think it's anything wrong with polyamory.
You
It's
shouldn't
just
do
not
this.
for me right here, right now.
Okay.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with. For those who may have missed that,
She said-
there's nothing wrong with polyamory. It's just not for you right here, right now. I would challenge that. I'm not going to, though. Let's go ahead and move around the table.
When the polyamory is, because I have some friends of mine that are polyamorous, and it's the idea of an entire family. So everybody's in on this. It's not just
Ooh,
the
child. Even more exhausting.
yeah. It's not
My
just
kids.
it's not the idea of just I have multiple people, but those multiple people also create a web.
Yeah.
And there is a network essentially of people that are all interconnected and intertwined through these central people who are the polyamorous couple.
Yeah.
And these other people do work within and through and all
And you
that.
say that to say what?
I say to say that is confusing for me. And I don't think that I could do it because if I commit to a relationship, I'm in that
What's
relationship.
the point of committing to a relationship if it's like a bunch of relationships?
I don't have it in me to deal with multiple women.
I think if all parties have an
committed
understanding,
situation,
it's not
That's
it's not as
exhausting.
exhausting as people would think.
Yeah,
but
like-
see, this is what we struggle with in this day and age is that people don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to keep it 100.
That's
and
fair.
in polyamorous relationships, the people bear everything. And that's where people get uncomfortable with
That's
the
true.
concept of it.
That's true.
Yeah,
Which is
it's
why
not
I
for
said
everyone.
Yeah, which is why I said within a committed relationship,
It's not for everyone.
if I commit myself
It's not for everyone.
to somebody, if I'm saying this is my girl, this is my
Yeah,
wife, this is
right.
that. No, I'm that is it. I'm not. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with multiple. If I committed myself to one,
It's the
woman.
commitment piece.
Yes.
Because I can, be out in these streets and do what the fuck I want to
Yeah,
do. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so, a nigga that I'm dealing with might be cool with that. That don't make me polyamorous.
That doesn't
though.
make that makes you single.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I think that there is a little bit of difference. And I think it comes down to what you really have the capacity to navigate
Absolutely.
healthily.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's
You
fair.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Great.
And that's to that point is, be it far from me to judge why people get into the things they get into. But it's just, if it's a situation where...
That was hilarious because that says so much.
Okay.
Because somebody's like, well, but it's like, no. we're doing that. But no, like, if it's a situation where if you feel like, from an outsider's perspective, because it's not for me. If you're in a situation where, well, he gonna cheat anyway. Or she gonna cheat anyway.
Cheating.
I don't know if
Don't be with that motherfucker.
If you have the mind that I'm gonna be in a monogamous relationship, and this is somebody I want, but he gonna cheat anyway.
So I might as well
she
be
gonna
poly.
cheat anyway.
So I might
Let
as
me
well
be
be
poly.
poly.
You're still not gonna be comfortable in that
Yeah,
relationship.
because you're in the wrong frame of mind.
Because you in your core you wanted something else,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a different thing if you're born into a religious system where that's kind of accepted or a thing. That's a bit different because I don't know, I can't speak on it too much because I'm not in it, but there may be less wiggle room with that.
Yeah.
But if you're not born into that type of thing or you don't join that sort of thing, then it's just like, well, that may not be for you. If that's your reasoning, maybe. As an outsider, maybe that's not. But if it's something you have the capacity for, like, hey,
Absolutely.
this person can give me this,
Yeah.
but this person can give me this. Like, he may be like, he shows up, he pays the bills, he does this, but he's emotionally unavailable. But this guy, like, he asked me 1,000 questions. He wants to know all my days.
He's ready, he's there, he's
You know what I'm
present.
saying? Like, and to the point where, like, I'm attracted to him or whatever, so I'm gonna date him, or we can see what this is going to be.
Yeah.
They give you two different things, or
Absolutely.
even a sexual experience. He does a sexual experience and a vibe we got that's good. He don't need too much. We good. Like, we can hold this thing down.
Yeah.
We can go out to movies every now and again. Every now and again, however y'all work that shit out.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Because it's different for everybody.
But polyamory, and I mean, this is just
It's
my
different for
perception. Polyamory is not what you have with the other person. It's the understanding that you have with the one that it's not involved at that time. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
Like
so
for me, that's just my perception. For it to be a successful polyamorous relationship, all parties have to be understanding about
Yeah.
the time
No,
that you
absolutely.
spend with the other person.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not divorced from this conversation. Though.
And let me
Yeah.
That's not
say,
divorced. Yeah.
let me just circle back because I think it is important based on my initial verbiage. For me, I don't feel like it will work, but I don't frown upon it. I really do think that, there are benefits to it for folks who can handle that emotionally, financially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do feel like I see it kind of just mishandled a lot.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree
sure,
with that.
Or at least
I'm
the
sure,
language
definitely
of it,
is.
just like anything else
Of
in the
course.
world. But I'm not, against polyamory or polygamous
Right.
marriages at all. By no
If
means.
it works for you.
And I
Right.
also think people use it as a cop out to that extent where Holden, I think you said
One of y'all.
where it's like they gonna cheat anyway.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
And
I don't
by
like this.
by approaching it that way, people are like, "Well, I'm polyamorous now." And
No.
it's like you're not polyamorous.
No,
you're
you're not.
monogamous.
Yeah.
and making
And insecure.
Having a polyamorous experience.
right.
Okay, Donna Lawrence.
Praise the Lord.
a polyamorous experience in your monogamous life. But ultimately, I think more people that ascribe to polyamory or polygamy are less polyamorous
Yeah.
than they would like to put on. Like they enjoy the idea, the concept of multiple. But when it comes down to handling, because in polyamory, you have to actually care for each person that you are with. You have to provide time.
Yeah.
You have to provide space.
You have to be fully in a relationship.
You have to
with
be
all
available.
parties.
You have to be available
on all parties. They are not a fly by night.
A nap.
But
Right.
But to Jerome also,
The fuck?
but you also have to have space for your partners to have theirs, because I think that's where the major problem comes, is that when your partners have somebody also, then you're looking at them. You might have space for multiple people, but when they say, "Yo, I got this one,
I got these,"
then it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Which is why unfortunately, we see a lot of guys where they're easy to grasp this concept of polyamory because it's self-serving.
Yeah, because
whoever's there with, whether it's a guy or a girl, whoever they're with, if they say, "Hey, I want somebody too," right, then it's a problem.
naturally we go to the sexual I guess idea of it all, and that's not the full idea of it.
At the end of the day, we fucking everybody involved.
But the connection, I know you're talking about.
Because you can say that, like, women, if they step out of their marriage or relationship and it's not sexual, their spouse still or their significant other still feels like they're cheating.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a polyamorous situation,
Very true.
And you're getting what you need emotionally from that other person, and the other person is cool with it because they cannot offer it to you, where's the harm in that?
I don't see any.
I don't
And if
see
there's
any,
something, if there's a need that you need sexually, and I'm not fulfilling that, and you know, shorty willing to do
Let's
that,
have a fucking party.
Yeah, like,
listen, but Janeé,
and I'm okay with that because that's not what I'm comfortable with. But if that's what you need, and I want you to be happy,
I respect it.
then by all means, yes,
Janeé,
please.
you made the very
fucking ass.
Hey, yeah.
Take
the
that
good
out.
point.
I'm the engineer this season. Ain't shit getting taken out. It is what it is. We here. Go ahead, Jerome.
You made the great point of capacity, and
Yeah.
it's what do you have the capacity for? And I've been told, like, there are different levels of polyamory and all these other things.
I'm sure.
And I've been told, like, oh, maybe you're solo poly. I said no.
You on Omega level.
What even is solo poly?
No, it's
Some shit somebody made up to make another motherfucker feel comfortable.
What
So
it is?
you cannot be because listen, the prefix alone POLY means many. You
It's
cannot
many.
be
I
solely
can't be by
poly.
myself and with
Solely?
many.
That's
But the thing is, like,
oxymoronic.
if you're
But
gonna,
go ahead.
if I'm going to date multiple people, I date multiple people.
That's
However,
promiscuity.
if I know me,
Hey, yo.
Talking about
promise.
poly is relationship.
I know
Right.
me. I cannot maintain
Multiple
relationships with
Yeah.
multiple people.
So
that's
you're not
just
poly.
not going to do.
Yeah,
No,
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 it's
no.
not.
If that's my girlfriend, that's my girlfriend.
Right.
If that's my wife, that's my fiance. That's
Yeah.
whatever she is. That's what she is.
Yeah.
And this,
I'm the same way.
it's like she cute, but I ain't touching her. Like that's what this is.
I can't. No,
I'm
I
a
agree
look,
with you.
but I'm not going to touch.
I agree with you. Especially in a committed situation. Listen, y'all, we out of time, and I hate to do this to us.
Oh, we was rolling.
This shit has been motherfucking
Yes,
dope. I
I'm
want to
not
thank
mad at it.
everybody out there. No, seriously. Thank you guys so much for joining us for season 3 of the Janeé Latrice podcast, our premiere episode.
Okay.
The happy hour of podcasts where young black creators come together to discuss our worlds and take what we need. Y'all know I gotta raise a toast.
Yes.
It's only right, okay? Now, we touched on a few, heavy things tonight, and I must say, it feels good to be back at the table with my comrades, shooting the shit and discussing our worlds. And listen, if everybody could just raise their glass real quick. I love you guys. People I value very, very much. Here's to us, living as long as we want and never wanting as long as we live.
Hey,
Cheers
now.
to everybody at
these
the
L's.
motherfucking table. Shout out. Listen, I got to give a shout out before we go. I have to give a huge shout out to the Everybody's Talking Show.
Yes.
Okay.
What up, Maurice?
Okay, Mark J. Listen, your favorite podcast was a special guest on that show. Our episode actually drops tonight, 7/11 at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. Make sure y'all subscribe. We was discussing pet peeves. It got real interesting.
Right.
Make sure
Sure
y'all
did.
subscribe to everybody's DeLoria Matt. Make sure y'all subscribe to Everybody's Talking About It on YouTube. And listen, shout out to Rec Philly, our new home. Our new home and an overall hub for creatives If you don't know, get hip at recphilly.com. And listen, if you have forgotten that fast, Vermeson second issue is available right now.
Go
Make
get
sure
that
y'all
first one, too.
follow Vermeson on IG. And this is not a test EP by yours truly.
Run it
It's
down.
currently available everywhere. I love y'all so much. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I